Listen, y'all, it's 2 in the morning. Hey, look, listen, I have to go to work. Uh, but we have to understand this, that there's a reason for everything happening. There's a reason for things happening. There's a reason for it. Nothing just don't happen in your life without a reason for it happening. What we fail to realize, what we fail to understand is that everything happened for a reason. People wonder why my mom is in the hospital. She's in ICU. And this is the reason, this is the time that I go see my mom early in the morning. Because I don't want to be around my mom while all the family around my mom. You know, I don't want to be around my mom while all my sisters and brothers around my mom. I haven't posted any posts on Facebook saying you all pray for my mom. You all do a good job when I ask you all to pray for my mom. When I ask you all to pray for somebody, or I ask you all to help me celebrate somebody's birthday. You all do y'all's job. But there's a reason for things happening. Good morning. God bless each and every one of you all. Listen, I don't want to be before you all long. I just want to drop a few things in your spirit at this hour. There's a reason for things happening. I'm sitting here at a gas station. Just got some gas. I'm headed home. And when I get home, I have to prepare myself to get ready to go to work. And I just wanted to drop this in y'all's spirit. So I'm sitting here at the gas station, and this young man comes up, and he's sitting at the gas pump with his head on the steering wheel. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking like, what's going on? Like, what is it going on with him? Why isn't he moving? Is he okay in the car? So I'm sitting here in the car, and then his head moves. And as I'm pumping my gas, he come back and he looks. And he says to me, he said, man, why women do the things they do? I said, why men do what they do? And he said, what do you mean? I said, a lot of storms that are in our life now are storms that we privately created, that we physically created. There are things that happens in our life that we are a part of, but we don't see it. We don't see the things that we do. We don't see the hurt and the pain and the things that we do that unannounced. We do these things. When somebody does something to us, 9 times out of 10, you have either done it to them physically or spiritually. You've done it to them. So what happens is those things have to come to pass. They have to come to pass. So what happens is you have men and women say, I don't know why my husband cheated on me. Now this man right here was saying he don't know why women do what they do. In other words, he was worried and upset and mad about what his wife done. So I said, how much time do you have? I can carry you down memory lane real quick. And he said, I got time. So when I began to talk to him, I asked him, I said, listen. I said, God said he won't have us to be ignorant. He said he won't have us to be ignorant. So as I'm talking to this young man this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can feel the hurt. I can feel the pain. I can feel the anguish coming out of him. I can feel these things. But at the same time, what I'm trying to learn and teach this young man is that nothing just happen. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. There's a reason that you was cheated on. There's a reason somebody committed adultery on you. There's a reason your wife left you. There's a reason your husband left you. There's a reason you got fired from your job. There's a reason you got laid off. There's a reason you had a miscarriage. There's a reason you couldn't do this. There's a reason you in a financial burden. There's a reason you're going through a sickness. It's a reason that you're going through what you're going through. It's a reason for this. And I asked him, I said, so you never cheated on your wife? And I looked at him, I said, I usually do teachings on Friday, Favorite Field Friday. I said, but this is my moment. I'm going to go and talk to the people that God have allowed to follow me. When you do things privately, the Father sees in private and he rewards you openly for them. You may have committed adultery spiritually, but never did it physically. You never went to the hotel room. You never brought somebody to your house, but spiritually you've done it. So God wouldn't be God if the Father didn't reward you openly for the things you thought. He said, for I know the thoughts that you think. Now notice what he said, thoughts of peace and not of evil, because he know that you're going to think evil thoughts. But then you're going to relay back to the peace, but you promoted the evil thoughts, the things that happen. So this young man now, he's understanding. He said, so even if I think about adultery, I committed adultery? And I said, yes. I said, because God rewards us openly. He said the Father sees in secret, and the Father that sees in secret, he rewards us openly. And he said, so when I'm at my job and I see that woman coming out of the copy room and I'm undressing her with my eye and I'm saying what I want to do to her and how I want to break her down and all. He said, so I'm committing adultery then? I said, of course you are. I said, what you don't understand is that a lot of storms in our life now are storms that we create, and we get mad at everybody around us when it begins to rain. But we cannot ask for the rain without dealing with the mud. We cannot ask for the rain without dealing with the mud. So my mom is sick in the hospital. I'm telling him the same thing I'm telling you all. He said, where's she? I said, she is in ICU. And he said, oh, you need to be up there with your mom. You need to be up. I said, the same God that sees in secret can heal my mama and openly. He can heal her openly. I said, but if I'm praying in secret for God to heal my mama openly, and she's praying in secret that she may not be healed, I said, it's going to be some confusion there. And he said, help me understand this. He said, I don't know who you are. He said, I don't know if you're a man of God or I don't know what you are. He said, but help me understand. Help me understand this. Every year for the last 11 years, I've been at the hospital with my mom. I've been wee hours of the morning there with my mom. I've done things and see, I don't need a crowd to bring forth the word of God. I just need some willing ears to listen. Now, these are the things that I'm telling this same young man. This young man left this gas station with confidence. I'm at a gas station. Let me show y'all I'm at a gas station, because I want y'all to know this. I'm at a gas station. I have no reason to lie. I have no reason to lie. There's no use of lying. It makes no sense when people try to come up with fake testimonies. I never understood that. But when I go to my mom by myself, Just me and my wife. Won't go to my mom by myself. I don't want to post pictures on Facebook. I don't want to post pictures on Facebook. I want people to automatically pray. Now, they was going to pull the plug on my mom. My sister called me. She was all out of whack. Oh, you need to get up here. You need to get up here. Just the presence of you being here, Mom, always come through. I said, sis, I'm at work right now. I said, I don't get off till 6. At that particular time, I had went to work at 5:30 in the morning. It was about 1:30, 2 o'clock when she called me. I couldn't get off my job to go where Mama was. But there is a God that's able to go any and everywhere if we call on him. If we call on him. And all the family was coming at me with negative marks. And one of my family members even got on one of my live feeds and say, you on here preaching to these people and your mama laying up in the hospital. You won't go see your mama. God ain't sleep. God ain't pleased. And I'm sitting here looking at my cousin that got on my live feed and talking about that I don't care about my mom and all this different stuff. I haven't heard from her in 2 years. I haven't seen her in 2 years. 2 whole years. I haven't seen her. I haven't heard from her. I haven't nothing. But all of a sudden, I'm on a live feed. And she comes on and she say that God is going to pay me back because I'm not doing right by my mama and all this different stuff. But God tells us in his word, he said, hear the whole conclusion of the matter. He said, a forward mouth I do hate. He said, a man that answer a matter before he hear it is a folly. You answering something before you even hear. I didn't post pictures of me going to the hospital with my mom. My brother, the bishop, did. He went to the hospital. He seen my mom. He posted pictures of him up there praying with my mom. I didn't post pictures of me going to there with my mom. I didn't post pictures. I didn't check into the hospital and let people know that I was up there. But I let people think what they want to think. I can't control you. I can't stop you from thinking the way that you think. Whatever's in you is in you. But we have to learn that things happen for a reason. Now, Mom, she's up. She's talking. She's moving. She's walking. She's doing all these things now. But the other day, the doctor wanted to pull the plug on her. He wanted to pull the plug on her. He wanted to yell, wait, somebody need to make a decision. She's not doing good. She's not responding. She's not, no. God has this. God has this. We panic too much. We panic too much. We get all dismayed. We get all out of character. We do all these things. And we know that God is God. We know that God is God. Don't you see in the book of Mark, the 5th chapter, how many miracles was performed? You had somebody having a funeral for their little child in the book of Mark. And Jesus just went and touched. And the young man was up and the storm. And Jesus just calmed the storm. And the man was filled with an unclean spirit and the legion man. And God came in and pulled all those spirits out. And the same spirit, see, that shows you. That shows you that what we deal with, other people cannot deal with. Did you not see when the unclean spirits came out of the man and they went into the herd of swine, they couldn't take the pressure from the spirit. They went and killed themselves. They went and killed themselves. I may wear a New York hat. I may even wear some Nike attire. I may even wear some Air Max or some Jordans. I may even wear some flip-flops, some slides, whatever it is. Listen, but that don't dictate the relationship that I have with God. That doesn't dictate the relationship that I have with God. That doesn't dictate the faith that I have in God. See, my faith is in God. My faith is in God. See, your faith may be in something else, but my faith is in God. See, Job told us that he said he's going to wait. This goes back to a teaching I just did, MII. Mistaken identity issues. Mistaken identity issue. This is a mistaken identity issue. The doctor already wrote my mother off before they even can find out what's wrong, what's going on. But I'm reminded that 6.5 months ago, the doctor sent my mama home to die. They said they couldn't do nothing for her. The family panicking. They act, oh Lord, she's about to leave. She's about to go. I said, mama ain't going nowhere until God is done with her. And when God is done with her, then she going. But until then, these are just things so God can get the glory. So God can get the glory. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for this message at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason for it. So we learn how to grow in God. We learn how to build in God. We learn how to do what God wants us to do. We learn how to do these things. See, I know the power of God. That's why when they everything happened in the family and everybody run to the hospital, I don't need to run to the hospital then. Because listen, you have to be careful who you be around in this season. You have people that don't come around until funerals. You have people that you don't see until people are sick. You have people that don't come around until weddings. You have people that don't come around until family reunions. You have people that don't come around to certain areas. I don't want to be hanging around nobody that don't come around until family reunion time. I don't want to be hanging around nobody that don't come around until a funeral. You got a death spirit around you because I don't see you until death. I don't see you until death is around. So therefore, you are operating in a death spirit. So I don't need to be around you because you are operating in something that I don't need to be around. He said in Psalms 118 and 17 that I shall not die but live and declare the works of the Lord. So I'm not going to be around you, and I don't see you until we have a funeral in the family. And then you coming in, you're dressed in all black, you're doing all, come on now. Oh, I don't see you until a wedding. I don't see you till somebody get married, but you ain't married. Come on, son, what's going on? What's really going on? What's really going on? See, we look at these things and we say, oh, it's not that. That's not what it is. Then tell me what it is. Tell me what is it? See, I had to stop this young man, but this young man, he went on. And he got killed. Not the young man this morning, but another young man. And I'm finished up about my mom. I got so much backlash. One of my cousins got on my live feed on yesterday, the one while I was doing mistaken identity issues, and said, I'm on here preaching to the people. And I'm not up here with my mom. I have my reasons for me doing things. I have my reason for me not going around crowded people. I have my reason for this because I know you ain't lined up with God. I know you ain't trying to get lined up with God. I know you don't believe in God like I believe in God. I know you don't sow seeds like I sow seeds. I know you don't read your word like I read my word. I know you don't study your word like I study my word. I know you don't have a prayer life like I have a prayer life. I know you don't do these things. I was able, ever since I was 7 years old, to know when somebody liked me, know when somebody disliked me, know when somebody can't stand me. I have walked in the hospital to see my mama at one point in time, and every family member that was in there that was talking, I can hear them in their spirit saying, what he doing here? I can't stand him. Why he here? He always got to come with all that God stuff. I'm hearing you ain't open your mouth, but I'm able to discern these things. So I don't want to be around wickedness. I don't want to be around fakeness. I want to be around realness. So when I go see my mother, I go see my mother, just me and the first lady. We go and we see my mother. I don't need a crowd. I don't need a crowd. But I told y'all about August. I have at least 30 inboxes right now that have showed me and told me of things of people done got exposed in August. But let me tell you something about September. September is a month that you're going to see people for who they really are. September is a month that's going to show you the truth, and you shall make yourself free. September is a month where you're going to see the goodness and the glory of God. September is a month where you're going to find out who's for you and who's against you. September is a month that you're going to see these things. September is a month. This lady inboxed me. She said, man of God, she said, I've been following you for 2 years, and you've been the same the whole 2 years I've been following you. Nothing changed with you. You're still the same. Because God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. God don't change. We change. When God shifts, we should shift. But we don't understand the power of God. We don't understand the power of God. See, when people look, I remember this man came on my live feed. I had my hat on, just like I have my hat on now. He came on the live feed. Instead of him getting the message from God, he telling me, first off, take your hat off, and then I'll listen to you. First off, I didn't tell you to come on this live feed. You chose to come on this live feed. So you can always dismiss yourself. I'm not going to go back and forth with people. I'm not going to go back and forth with people. But I want you all to understand that everything happened for a reason. I'm going to share this last thing. I'm going to get ready to end this live feed. This young man came to me and he said, man of God, what do you do when you find out that your wife is cheating? He said, I've been through so much with this woman, but I found out that she's having an affair. I said, listen, before you go over and get yourself killed, I said, ask yourself these questions. How did this outside man know the schedule that you work in order to come into your house? How did this outside man know your schedule and knew what time to come to your house? I said, think about this. How did he find out what time you left, when you get off, all these different things? How did he know these things? See, I want men and I want women to use your wisdom. Use your knowledge that God has given you. Everything happened for a reason. See, God said that you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. So what happens is that this young man was going to kill the man that his wife was cheating around with him on. And I said, think about this. Before you go and get yourself killed, think about these things. Because I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. You have to have an insider to know for anybody to come into your home. And I said, if you caught them in your home, I said, he wasn't his first time there. This wasn't his first time there. So you have to learn how to use your wisdom. See, we getting mad at the wrong person. We getting upset. You getting mad at the wrong people. You get mad at a man because a man is in your house making out with your wife. The thing you need to be understanding is, how many times have God shown me this and I threw it to the side? How many times have my wife showed me or your husband showed you that they wasn't faithful and you still went on with it like you didn't know nothing, like you didn't see nothing, like God didn't show you nothing? How many times have God shown you? How many times? See, men are in their grave. I know at least 7 or 8 men right now that are in their grave. The same conversation. The same conversation. That goes for ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend or whatever. Don't sit and tell me that a man that finds out that his wife is cheating, a woman that finds out that her husband is cheating, that's not the first time that they figured out that that's what they're doing. That's not. See, everything happened for a reason. You got to learn how to use your wisdom and your knowledge. You have to learn how to use these things. You have to learn how to use your smarts. You have to learn, like my granddad would say, use your smarts, son. Use your smart. You have to learn how to use your smarts. You have to learn how to use your wisdom and your knowledge. There's a lot of men that are sleeping in their grave today. Went and tried to check the man that their wife was messing around with, or a lot of women try to go check the woman that their husband messing around with, and they're laying in their grave. And guess what? Their husband or wife is out doing the same thing that they was doing when they got caught. God won't have you ignorant to these things. So why do we act like we foolish and we don't understand when things happen? God will not be God if God lets you sit in a relationship and you don't know what's going on with that mate. That ain't God. That's not the God that I serve. That's not the God that you serve. God won't have you ignorant to these things. There's no way that somebody would come up and you will find out that they're doing something that they have no business and you not know what's going on. When I told this young man 2 years ago the same thing, before he even got killed by the man that his wife was cheating around with, I told him, I said, before you go get yourself killed, think about these things. You have to learn how to have mind over feelings. Mind over feelings. Get out of your feelings and get into your intelligence and learn these things. When you hear on the news of somebody getting killed, you have to think yourself, I guarantee you, on their way to do whatever it is that they was going to do, they thought about that thing. They thought about, I can get killed. I can get killed going here. I know it rings a bell in your mind. I can get killed. I guarantee you, every man that comes in another man's home while he at work, every woman that comes in another woman's home while she at work, going into that door, going into that bedroom, you in your mind, you are saying, I can get killed. I can lose everything. I know in your mind, you're not going to tell me that you don't think of these. You're not going to tell me that this don't run across the mind. Any man, woman, boy, and girl, you go talk to them that are in prison for killing somebody, it goes through your mind first. But then you still commit the act. You still commit the act. And you end up being lost. You think about it first. You think about what it can do first. And then you proceed on to doing it because you have made an agreement with whatever action come. You have made an agreement with whatever it is. You have had people that have been married for 30 years, took 5 minutes and destroyed their whole marriage. People that have been married 10 years, took 5 minutes and destroyed their marriage. You think about it first. Everything happens for a reason. See, messages like this don't go viral because the devil, the enemy, the satanic and demonic agenda, that's what they feed off of. Men and women coming before God saying that they do, knowing that they don't. When this man got killed, I said, man, I was talking to some guy. I said, man, I just talked to this guy. I just talked to this guy. I just talked to this guy. But we're going to do what we want to do. We're going to do what we want to do. There's nobody that can tell me different. There's nobody that can tell me otherwise. Whatever you value is what you become. Whatever you value is what you become. A lot of preachers and teachers don't allow me to preach in their church because I let the Holy Spirit do what the Holy Spirit need to do. When people need God, God is going to work through those that allows him to work through. He's going to do it. So I don't expect to have 300 and 400 people on when I'm preaching and teaching or when I'm coming forth with a word. I just expect the people that God wants to hear the message, I expect them to be there because they're going to be there. They're going to be there. Stop going out, beating yourself up, pacing the floor, trying to figure out, oh, I've done all, I did all I can all these years for you, and you go out and do these things. I've done all I can. Stop doing all that. Get away from all that. Stop trying to think it that this is a physical thing or emotional thing. Get out from around all that. This is a sin thing. This is a sin thing. Sin has crept in and pausing the very existence of the bloodline of this nation. And men and women are laying in their grave right now for fighting for somebody that was never fighting for them. A married man shouldn't have to go against no man for his wife. His wife is his rib. The woman was made from the rib of a man. So you shouldn't have to fight and stand up for a grown woman. She should be able to stand up for herself. A grown woman shouldn't have to stand up for her husband. Her husband should be able to stand up for himself. You should be able to tell that woman that, hey, I'm married. I'm married. I love my husband. You should be able to do that. Everything happens for a reason, y'all. Everything happens for a reason. You're not going to tell me otherwise. Nobody's going to tell me otherwise. You're not going to tell me otherwise because I know that everything happened for a reason. I know that everything happened for a reason. These things happen so that we can grow up, so that we can wake up, so that we can learn God. Sometimes God carry us through these trials and tribulations. While you up right now in the morning, you had to receive this message. And whoever's going to tune in, whoever tune into the message, whether it's shared, whether people invite, whether people sow a share, whatever it is, you are in the place. Stop trying to stand up for people that should already be standing up for themselves. Stop trying to talk for a grown man when a grown man should be able to talk for himself. Listen, guys, all you guys out there that think that beating a woman, it makes you a man. If you have to beat her for her to stop cheating, if you have to beat her for her to be a woman, if you have to beat her for her to be a wife, then you don't need her. If you have to watch her or him, you don't need them. You shouldn't have to go to your job and then keep checking on your wife to see if she's doing something she don't have no business, or your girlfriend to see if she's doing something she don't have no business. You shouldn't have to be at your job concerned about if your girlfriend or wife or husband is at home doing something they don't have no business. If you at work, you should be at work. When you get home, you at home. When you at work, you at work. When you at home, you at home. When you at work, you at work. That's how it should be. If you have to watch her or him, you don't need them. Stop trying to keep people in your life that have shown you over and over and over and over and over and over again that they don't like you, they don't want you, they want to be out in the streets. Let them go. Because if God brought you to it, he's going to bring you through it. He's going to help you. He's going to help you. Ladies, stop beating yourself up, thinking that I invested so many years. Oh, I invested so many years. Oh, I've done this, I've done that. I've done this, I've done that. When my wife and I first got married, when we were sitting in the courthouse on the side of the bench, getting ready to go in to be married, I told my wife then, I said, baby, if we ever come to a point to where we get a divorce or we come to a point to where we depart, I said, it's not going to be because Robert didn't do what he needed to do as a man. It's not going to be because I didn't step up as a father. It's not going to be because I wasn't doing what I need to do in my household. It's going to be because you have let a spirit creep in, or you have let some people creep in, or you think that your ways can't catch up with you and you want to go out and explore. I said, at that point, I will not try to keep you. And I tell my wife that all the time. I will not try to hold you here. And we've been together, Lord, we'll see nothing happen. March, we'll be together 20 years. This November, we'll be married 15 years. If you're ready to go, I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to hold you. Because you have made up in your mind that you're ready to go. So all these years, it's only been practice. Only been practice. See, I've been through a lot of things in my life. But one thing that I had before I even had my wife was Jesus Christ. And when my wife is dead and gone, and when my family is gone away from me, and when I'm not around my family, I have Jesus Christ. And that's who I trust in. I tell my wife, when she tell me she love me, I said, baby, I want you to love Jesus 100 times more than you love me. I want you to love Jesus 100 times more than you love me. I want you to love him more than you love me, because he can teach you. He can show you. He can build you. He can help you. We have to learn this. When you are married all these years and all of a sudden infidelity comes, it is only because your season is up with that person. Yes, you've been with them half of your life, but your season is up. When you are fighting for something that somebody else don't want to fight for, your season is up. When somebody can go out and let somebody lay down with them, and you know you've done all you can, you've done all the right things, you said all the right things, you've done everything as a man, you've done everything as a woman, and they come to you and they go out and they cheat and they commit adultery, they do this, the season is up. The season is up. That's what it is. The season is up. Nobody gonna tell me. I remember this one lady came to me and she said, man of God, I want you to help me with something. You know, I was at my football game and my ex-boyfriend came from long years ago. Me and him, we never had sexual intercourse, but he came around and my husband was out of town on business, and he came around and one of my friends brought him to the game, and I said, he's not the problem. I said, the friend that brought him is the problem. She said, what do you mean? I said, the friend that brought your ex to the game knowing that you was married, I said, that's your problem. See, you have to understand that you outgrow besties. You have to understand that you outgrow family. You have to understand that you outgrow people. You outgrow coworkers. You outgrow these people. Your mind change shift. You shift from being around somebody to knowing around somebody. So you shift. And she said, I'm not understanding that, because she been my best friend since kindergarten. She may have been your best friend since kindergarten. And you all are grown now in your 30s, and she still don't recognize that you married, and you've been married for 12 years. Then she ain't your bestie, she your mestie. She your mestie. I said, let me ask you something. If your husband would have been here, would she have brought him to this game? Oh no, she would have never done that. So she would have never done it if your husband would have been in town. But because your husband's not in town, she decided to invite an ex-boyfriend that you never slept with. I said, don't you know when you get around this man, all those old flames is going to pick up? Don't you know that? Oh no, I'm stronger than that, man of God. I'm anchored in. Listen, you can say how strong you are, but you don't know what you're going to do when you outside of that temptation, when you get outside of the perimeters of your temptation. See, your husband is a barrier that keeps you from doing these things. Your wife is a barrier that keeps you from doing these things. But when you get outside of them, how do you act? That would dictate the marriage. That's what dictate the marriage. See, when you invite sin in, you can't win. When you invite sin in, you can't win. So she went on to say, well, I'm this, I'm that. I said, give it. I give it 6 months. I said, when you come back to me, the story's going to be changed. Oh, no, man of God, I'm way stronger than that. I love my husband. I wouldn't do nothing to destroy that. My God been good. All this stuff. I hear you talking, Peter. Before the rooster crow, you're going to deny God. God told him. I hear you talking. 5.5, almost 6 months after this woman came to me, she came back. And she said, man of God, I messed up. I'm not the man of God that tell you I told you so. I'm not the man of God that tell you I told you so. But learn how to take heed to what comes out the mouth. She said, man of God, I thought I was strong. I found myself inviting him to my house. I found myself going out to eat with him. I found myself doing all these things. We never had sexual intercourse. I found myself letting him kiss me, let him touch me. And we ended up doing a lot of things that we shouldn't have done. Said, you told me months ago that you were strong, that you were strong-willed, that you was all these things. I said, I already seen it when you was talking to me. I seen that you was weak in these areas. I seen that you was weak in it. But you insist on saying that this and this. And she said, I wish I would have listened. I said, but everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Don't nothing just happen. It happens for a reason. It happens for a reason. Now, if you try to go and get her to do the same thing right now in 2018, she won't do it. She's God-fearing now. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. We have to learn that a lot of things happen for a season. Something happen for a reason. Something happen as a lesson. Something happen as a blessing. Learn from it. Grow through it. Build from it. And let God mold you into what he would have you to be. Let God mold you into what he would have you to be. God is a faithful God, y'all. Y'all enjoy this day. I have to get home. I got to get ready to prepare myself to go to work. God bless each and every one of you all. Thank you all for following the God in me. Continue to be faithful to God and keep God first. God bless each and every one of you all. And you all have an outstanding, favor-filled Friday. Share the broadcast with somebody that's going through something. Let them know that God is a God. God is a God that heals, that delivers, that seals.